Misutaaa. So, you guys voted. This is what you chose. And I think it's going to be very interesting, because Misutaaa is a player who kind of got a bad rap for a while. Because when he first started, actually, with Vitality, he was 17. And I think not enough people took that into consideration when assessing his performance during the first kind of year or so of his place on this side. I think a lot of people dismissed him, kind of like the way they're talking about Kyojin now, except he quite clearly made strides, huge strides, and as we go into this new era potentially for Vitality, things are looking incredibly bright, and he has been incredibly impactful. So, let's get right into the VOD. So here we are, Team Vitality versus Virtus.Pro. So this is map 2 of best of 3, and coming into this, I really had Virtus.Pro pegged to take it. I was very high on VP. I thought they were taking this game, I thought they were taking the entire event. I love their roster, I love the stars on this team, I really like the way they play. You know, everything seemed right, but then this dead Vitality squad showed that there was some truth in those things they were saying in interviews. They weren't really a dead team. You know, there's great camaraderie. They're still really playing for each other. And a part of what allowed them to really step up and challenge VP were their individuals. misutaaa, most notably amongst them, actually outperforming statistically ZywOo in this game. So let's take a look here. He's playing the pistol round on this A short, A side, A yellow. I think he's starting to push into now. Just looking for some info. ZywOo's already taken contact. ZywOo's already got a frag. And there's another contact taken by Apex. Swings out. Can't get anything done. Kind of taking the bait, I think, for ZywOo, who's able to get another before going down. Something that I noticed quite a lot in this event was misutaaa kind of playing more active. He was able to take a lot more space at times, I saw, both on CT and T side. As in, if he found a gap, he was being allowed to push it a lot more than I was expecting. And I think part of that, tells us about the mentality of the team going into this move, potentially with Magisk and Dupree. I know there's been some contrarian reports from Overdrive, even if he says himself that it's a very weak source. But I expect that to be happening, and misutaaa being allowed to be more free kind of makes you think like Magisk and Dupree are going to come in and maybe be a bit more solid. Supportive might not be entirely the right word, but he might be one of the players who's let loose a little bit. IM Winter was an interesting event though, as Vitality kind of displayed why they should be considered the second best team in the world. I think the case should be, we should be in a world where Vitality are the second best team in the world. They have the second best player, arguably ever, best player ever. I don't think I've seen anyone except Simple play better Counter-Strike than ZywOo. So they really should be higher rated. It's just they've been struggling. You see here this sort of mid-aggression. Sure, it's a pistol round. Not as big a deal. It's being held, of course, because it's Virtus.Pro. Gets some damage in, but goes down. They actually won that round. Side note. I'm assuming ZywOo put in some work. He's now jumped up to 6 frags and saved himself an AK. The typical smoke for the bottom of the ramp. You see everyone from ESEA Open onwards doing this smoke. If you don't know it, that's the lineup roughly. It's not the most complicated thing in the world to throw. It's more about lining up your body and running along the wall or the panel that blocks you and just releasing it at the right time. It's not the hardest smoke to throw in the world. Okay, so ZywOo playing behind the sandbags whilst misutaaa's kind of not doing anything. I think he was listening for info a lot early after throwing that smoke. Team weren't going very aggressive on A. And this is very nice. misutaaa not over-peaking. He's definitely the bait and switch setup here. ZywOo going to swing out from the sandbags the moment misutaaa takes contact. And you see there, drops the molly back. It's a very useful grenade. But doesn't want to die with it in his hands. Ooh. ZywOo actually ends up swinging on a timing, and misutaaa still takes some aggro and goes down. Allows ZywOo to get a double kill. Very awkward fight, though. You might be afraid of a deagle swing here, but I think that's kind of offset by the way he's just constantly moving angle to angle. If he was standing still, it's an easy kill for a deagle, but that movement makes it very hard to hit a headshot, just swinging out like that. As the info starts trickling in, Kyojin's gone down. What the hell? Yeah, misutaaa, please, bring us back to sanity. How'd you lose 2 players in this round? Kyojin got killed by a Glock, for crying out loud. There we are. Kyojin's a player who really has... I think he has the mechanics to play at this level. He hasn't got his head around it yet. That seems to be a lot of the issues. He's never sure where to put himself, never sure what he's supposed to be doing. But when he just has to rely on raw aim, at times he can be absolutely sensational. There's that smoke lineup again. And playing mid. So he's kind of like the third A player who has mid responsibilities. In the same way when you play 2 B players, sometimes you'll have one of them play the mid. See, this round he's playing it dry as well. But this time he knows it's AKs. He's playing further back in a different off angle. A lot harder to clear with an AK. Okay, so he's got a teammate behind him, but teammate rotates off. This could be awful timing. Misutaaa playing up close though. Dodging any flashes. Gets a flash of his own. Gets one. Traded immediately. I like the idea of the play. Even if he doesn't get the second, he still gets a lot of info. You'd have liked more. The flashbang didn't seem to really hit its mark. I think he went a bit deep and got, well, seen coming, called out, and dodged. But yeah, 1 for 1. Not great, but nice information. Oh, mid-aggression this time. Flashed in. Love that flash. Remember the first time I saw it, thought, wow, that's game-changing. Turns out it wasn't that nuts, but still. There you go. Kyojin gets the frag. Alright, so Apex falls, and now misutaaa, how does he come off this? Alright, there you go. That's nice. Stayed on the angle. Made sure no one came out mid on his rotation. Gets the kill on your Kindar eventually. And leaves Jame in a 1v3. Okay, holding ZywOo's off angle. Or dead spot, I guess. So you can't cover both angles with the AWP. Now, Jame could walk into this and hit the shot. It's the sort of thing Jame does. Exactly. That sort of rifle thing is exactly what you want from all your rifles. Not just any supportive rifles or any kind of role-based thing. It's just you play smart, you play with your AWPer. You make sure he gets the most favourable fights possible. Okay, so both the A-ramp plays have gone down to the hero AK. I'm a suit swing back out. That's a really awkward fight. Eventually lands it. That's a nice shot, though. No head armor on your Kindar. Does help, but well done. Equalized somewhat the massive problem created by the deaths of both Apex and I want to say ZywOo. Okay, the rifles are back out. We're back with this smoke. You're going to see it a lot. It's kind of his job to throw it, so he's going to throw it every damn round he can. And this is a really tough spot. This is a really tough spot to play. Misutaaa's essentially asked to play contact in mid. And then when they want to throw him forward, or when they need to rotate, he has to make those decisions or make those plays smartly. And you saw it there earlier when he rotated back off, kept his crosser on the angle. Made sure to not make any sloppy mistakes. But here again, it's Yekindar and Flit. It's a really tough 2 players to have to take on your own. And Yekindar boosted. Misutaaa doesn't check for it, and I'm not sure Yekindar spotted him. They're coming over here to equalize sort of the 1-for-1 trade. Apex got a kill at the ramp, but a player died at B stairs. And, that's awkward. Trying to get aggressive and Buster just checks for it. That's unfortunate. But as I was saying, mid, playing just straight contact, like face first. Any flashbangs, any pops, take him right out. But he kind of has to. Because there's nowhere else, there's no other way to hold mid. Boosted up here, ooh. Can't let that shot. Flit's going to swing for it. Does get a dink. Nice damage, but can't get the kill. Misutaaa's statistics across this event weren't actually that nuts, but he did a really good job in this series, especially, because this series going in was going to be incredibly tough, and they needed players to step up. Beating Gambit was a really big deal, but Virtus.Pro in a best of 3, incredibly difficult to put away. And so yeah, we're changing things up. Back to the mid play, but again, a bit more aggressive, maybe an economy read. Oh, spots the head. There's one. Flick can't get anything done, so there's 2. He was blinded, kinda, but he got enough info to get the kill. Kindar looks to trade, but misutaaa hits that shot as well, so no armor, no head armor on these players, at least the last 2. Makes it a bit easier to convert those frags. But back to his stats. This best of 3, he went absolutely ballistic. And these were close games. Was it 16-13, 16-13? Yeah. These games were really on a knife's edge, and misutaaa was a part of that deciding factor, the reason it went in the way of Vitality, because ZywOo was good. Don't get me wrong, he rarely is bad. But misutaaa actually outperformed him, and it was really telling on the server that they needed that other guy to step up, and it was misutaaa in this one. Oh, nice there. Nice little jiggle peek. Baits out the shot. Only shows the shoulder. He gets it for free. So yeah, slowly racking up kills. 10 kills, 12 rounds. Nothing insane yet. A lot of the kills have been against lower buys. I've said it before, I'll say it again though. Someone has to get those kills, otherwise you'll lose the round. So there's still value in it. Oh, and here you go. Pressure on the A ramp. And he kind of rotates back, then kind of backs off again, because It's one of those things, the A ramp, where you feel like you're losing it, you call for the help, then all of a sudden, no one did push. You see here now, he's playing this at a 3rd level. So he played it from the sort of sandbags, he played it really close to the wood, and he's played it far back. And based off this read, they've actually rotated shocks back into mid to allow misutaaa to help at the ramp, especially now that Apex is down. Like, ZywOo went down first, Apex trade 1 for 1. misutaaa needs to go huge here. He can't get anything done. Rose goes a map, though, that the moment you lose both your ramp players, even if they're both traded 1 for 1, your rotations need to be perfect and almost instantaneous. Because you'll lose that bomb site. If you're not there in time to deny the plant, it can be really tough to retake. So misutaaa is now playing on top of the sort of sandbags. Keeps changing things up. I said this in the Deagle round. It makes it a lot harder for people to just walk out and one-tap you if you barely stay in one place for any extended period of time. You stop, you move, you stop. Just so statistically they'll catch you moving, and it makes it harder to hit you. He rotates back off the angle. I think playing a little safer. Dropping his molly over to ZywOo. Yep, as I said, utility management, very important. Flit is locked up in that time, though. Again, another situation where misutaaa, you need a big play. Need at least one and to survive. Otherwise, it's 2 for 1. Or bust. He's here in the steps, but he doesn't want to swing out because he's not covered off from the ramp. And you saw, Jane was actually at the bottom of the ramp, likely holding his sort of angle. So, the right decision not to push. Even if you sometimes see players get away with it, you know, just gambling and making it happen. The right decision there to play passive. A lot of info confirming this play. But Kyojin's still on B. They're playing 1 in each site. They've decided not to risk it and put both in the same one. Oh, gets 1. Oh, lovely double. A little questionable as to why Virtus.Pro didn't choose to use some util there. Maybe a smoke, a flash, a molly, something just to eliminate angles. Instead, he's able to get a double kill. Really huge. Still lose the round, though. Into the T-side pistol. So, only one set of util. Quite sparing, but speed is the name of the game here. Get those locks in the USP's faces. And they've got all a ramp. Now they fall back. So an interesting way of taking map control. Rather than using util and leaving like one player there to make sure the CTs don't push, just bombard your way up there. Just run up with the Glocks. No util used. Only some damage exchanged. And now you actually do your exec. So that's a really different way of taking space and showing presence. Rather than using util, just throw 3 players up there, clear it out, and then fall back. Now they're getting aggressive post-plant, so see if misutaaa can find some heads here. It's really what you're looking for, to stop this retake before it even starts. Flash misses. Can't get anything done. Only ZywOo finds a kill for the T's. That's the disadvantage of that kind of fake. Is if you don't get a frag, all of a sudden you've got a free bomb site, but it's a 5v5 retake. Vitality, they full bought. Look at this money. Look at how much money they have. Kyojin just drops an AK to misutaaa. And they have 4 rifles. So we're able to walk in it. I don't even know how he did that. The Galil, is that a DLC addition to the Galil? I've never seen it do that before. Oh, misutaaa does trade out. Or doesn't trade out. He picks up that kill on Flit after some damage. Nice shot. Makes it look rather easy. Yeah, the economy's a bitch right now. Especially if you're a CT. I mean, you let the T's get the bomb down. You basically didn't win pistol. That feels kind of weird saying. But that's how it is. Alright, here you go. This is the other way of showing presence on ramp. To fake it out a bit. So you leave one player with a lot of util to deny info. You know, throw that deeper smoke. Maybe spam it a little bit. Challenge anyone who wants to swing. The space you leave open in Counter-Strike is a bit like a backwards pawn. In chess, the same concept. It can be a target. It can be a problem. And sometimes it does just happen. It happens to be that you have a backwards pawn. You have an open area you can't cover. So it means you have to be extra careful in the rest of the time. Ooh, misutaaa. Nicely trades. Kicker. Just going ham with a P250, picking up frags with no body armor. And now Jane wipes out 1 dig on ZywOo. This round got really, really rough. That nade is nice though. Now your KingT just has a USP. Just no body armor. These two should just swing out, yep, the pair of them. Now your KingT is going to get closer, but there's no way you should get anything done. Gun round be gun round now. You see him throwing his solo util. On the other side of the map, Shock's got the opening on Buster. So now time to group up, just take B. That's what it looks like. They're boosting up players. Misuta's still checking behind, making sure there's no lurk, no push through the mid at that point, at that timing. And see, now that he's left A, the smokes, everything's faded at A. And the CTs have cleared it, but it's too late. The XX's happening, the bomb site's essentially empty. This is borderline save territory for the CT side. Now this is save territory. Unless Flick gets a multi-kill, there's no way you don't save. Shox has started to lurk, so Misuta needs to hold some attention here. They really want to deny all these weapons. The economy battle is essential to winning Counter-Strike games. Ooh, nice shooting. Now Jamer would love to get this AWP out into the next round. And Misutaaa takes it off him. Lovely denial. See, the economy war is kind of like... I was about to say the Cold War, except the entire point of the Cold War was that no one shot each other. But it's kind of like the secret background war on top of the real one. Like, the one everyone notices is the bomb plants, the actual round-by-round winning stuff. But the economy battle can be just as important. You see here Virtus.Pro, because they were not able to save anything. They're on essentially a save, spending very little. Plenty in the bank account for next round. But they would have full forced if they'd saved all 3 weapons. So one thing I've noticed watching the T side so far, Misutaaa is very dedicated, the A player. You saw on the CT side he kind of rotated a lot, you know, between mid and A. Oh, Apex goes down. Misutaaa can't trade it. Okay, that's a freebie for Yakinda. As I was saying, he's a very fixed A player. And this is a lot of teams have these defaults where it's not as hard as to what you do every single round, every player, like as fixed. But there are certain players who just are responsible for certain places. And Misutaaa in this case is just the ramp player. If they're going ramp, he's a part of 2 players, 3 players. If they're going B for sure, he just sits there and distracts, holds and rotates. You see here, they've got the kills on the bomb site. Player generator only just gets killed, and he's holding for this lurk. He's holding for this rotate. Because he knows Yakinda was an A player. And there you go, he gets the frag. So this round, okay, they do actually have a default sort of setup with more of an A presence. Boosts up Apex. Looking over that sort of little gap in the smoke up there. Kindar's spamming. I think Kindar's trying to spam over the box that Misuta's crashed in front of. Not necessarily spamming for Apex. Otherwise he might have killed him rather than just tagged him a little bit. Okay, I do like Misuta's crosshair placement. Just want to throw that out there. It's not the buttery, sexy, smooth of Fang. But it's not the shaky awkwardness of some other players I've watched, so... So it's typically just about in the right place. Kick getting a spam kill on Kyojin. It's unfortunate. Apex does trade, but there's a massive CT stack here. They were not subtle about this being an A play. And the CTs have been quite happy to rotate A or play heavy A. As I said, this bomb site, it's one that you don't want to give up that easily. You don't want to let the plant go down. Because retaking it can be an absolute nightmare. But they're not really fighting for the ramp as heavily. That's the difference. We saw Vitality very happy to fight for ramp, play Zywu at sandbags, do these really like combative setups. And here we see Misutaaa. He's trying to make this happen. 1v2. Bomb down would be nice. Instead fix it. Ooh, nice shot. Jesus, what a nice shot. Gets to save the AWP. So silver linings to that round. But overall, VP read it. VP were in place. And Vitality, I think, could have done better. Again, presence shown towards the A ramp. And this time, VP have fallen away from this super heavy A lane at the start. They're actually playing quite heavily toward mid. Maybe expecting a change up. Misutaa's gotten ahead of this. And that flash should tell him that someone's aggressing. So the fact that he's heard nothing, he should be able to call Yakinda's push. And expect Kikit's position. Exactly. Gets Kikit down. Now you can try and find Yakinda, who does get the better of him. Man, Yakinda's a little snake. God damn. So tough to locate. So hard to get a fix on, you know. Gets a double kill with an MP9. And that, yeah, it's a round-winning play from Yakinda. But yeah, you saw that. The flash from Kikit. For me, if I'm the ramp player, that tells me it's aggression because of the way the trajectory happened. But I also think it should give away that if you're not seeing an immediate push like above the sandbags on that little peak, or someone swinging out with an AWP at the top of the ramp, probably a side like a yellow push. Maybe that was communicated and Yakinda just won the fight straight up. I mean, he does that. He's Yakinda. But still, I was hoping for Yakinda to die there, in the nicest way possible. They have taken the ramp back, though, after the smokes fade. CT's fall back. Yeah, 2-for-nothing trades, so something huge required to make this a Vitality 1 round. Alright, exec, try and get the bomb down. In a 5v3, the CTs might be a little more willing to play for a retake. You see here, yeah, no one extends into that gap to try and take him down. It's now 4v3 as Shox catches Flit. And, ooh, Misutaaa, did he get the info? I think he did. Oh, he spots him again. Lovely snap. Traded by James. This is my first time watching Misuta's POV in a while. I'd forgotten that he is quite crisp when he wants to be. Like, I've seen a couple of these shots with the AK have been really tasty. Instantaneous headshots, really. You see here, he's playing a bit more passive, solo. Not overextending, not risking being exposed from both someone above the smoke and someone at yellow. Or side, or whatever we want to call it. So yeah, Kindle's been an absolute menace. Oh, jump spots, finds him. Wins the fight. That's excellent. That's an excellent play from Misutaaa. Just the way he played that entire situation. It's textbook. Put down his util, made his noise, and then just got the info. He wasn't there to just swing and fight people. He was there to get info primarily. And once he got it, he knew Kindle had been caught out. Swings, takes the fight. It's essentially a fair fight at that point. And I don't recommend fair fights. But you have to be able to win them. And you see that he does. Against a pretty good player as well. So, really liking that. Boost to clear this angle. Nothing. So that can be cool. And they can progress to the next step of the mid-take, which is this swing. Kyojin leading the way. And now the flashbang for Kyojin to, again, lead the way. Kyojin plays a lot of really hard entry plays on the T side. His impact rating wouldn't, like, let you believe he gets, like, a lot of openings. That's because he doesn't get a lot of openings. Funnily enough. But instead he actually plays a real entry position, which is, we need someone to run blind into this area. Kyojin? Please. Here, we've got a bit of an awkward round here. James kind of trying to fight his way out of electric. He can't. And Misutaaa doubles up with low HP. They really get combative when they take B. Like, Vitality, they are a more combative team than Virtus.Pro in certain ways. See, VP would prefer to have, I think, 4 players in a post plant. Vitality would rather have Misutaaa challenging the CTs on the way in. Okay, more of a fixed ramp take. We got 3 players just walking up. Kyojin joining them as well, so it makes 4. Yeah, this is a pistol round for the Virtus.Pro side. Vitality have some kind of read because they wouldn't be going this dry against a full buy. Oh, okay, Misutaaa just going to mop them up. That's a triple kill. Kyojin got Buster. Just Flit left alive. Okay, 14-13. Misutaaa's on 29 frags, 16 deaths. He's been... It's not been the nuttiest performance, but what it has been is just a complete game. He's found opening kills at the ramp when he's playing it in the default. On the CT side, you know, he won fights. He got 1-for-1 trades when he was in really tough scenarios. He had a couple dud rounds, but overall, Misutaaa's had a really good game. 31 kills, bit flattering, but it was a plenty good enough performance. Alright, util in. James does get the opening. Misutaa's got a lot of space. Does Kindle get checked? So you see, that's the thing with Virtus.Pro. I said, they like to play a lot of those passive heavy stacks. But when they turn up the aggression, and they want to be aggressive, they're very good at it. They have the players for it, and James gets the opening pick. Kindle still hasn't been bloody checked. No molly, nothing. Who pays the price? Flashes are in, Misutaaa again taking point. Him and Kyojin just knocking their way in, and there you go. Kindle finally swings out. Someone needs to make a play to make this with a Vitality round, and it's not going to be Misutaaa. Instead, it's Shox and ZywOo in a 2v5. They win that round. See now, the first time we've seen him not at the A ramp, and it's a heavy, heavy B setup. Apex goes down, playing quite aggressive on A. Alright, time for entry Misutaaa to return. He's the play going to be wrapping around the back site. Ooh, spots out James. Does get that frag eventually on Flit. Takes our kicker, and now it's just Kindle 1v2. Please tell me the camera stayed in focus the entire time. That'd be really annoying if it didn't. But Misutaaa, okay. So I want to elaborate on something. The difference between Misutaaa and Kyojin in terms of their progression. Now, firstly, Misutaaa has been afforded more time. Assuming the changes do go through, but he wasn't as slow to pick it up initially. And also you see here, he doesn't do a whole lot wrong. He does a lot of things just perfectly fine. I think the biggest mistakes I saw were like a couple rounds where he could have got a kill, he needed to go bigger, and he just did some damage. Yeah, that happens. He's not like config. He's not the most mechanically nutty player we've ever seen. But he's good enough. He's smart. His fundamentals are solid. You saw that on his like A default over and over again towards the ramp, putting down the right util, not getting caught out. You saw the rest of his team get caught out a lot. Even when they were left alone, they actually end up dying. He plays it very smart. You saw that opening kill he found against Yekindar. He stuck around, just that extra second jump spot, a rather safe way to get info, but just to make sure no one's pushing, and they were. That's how you end up with 31 frags. Pick up a few ecos, hit the shots you need to hit, have a couple nutty shots in post plants. We saw some ridiculous AK flicks. I said he's not the nuttiest player in the world, but he has definitely got very nice mechanics. I think his pre-aims were good. And yeah, overall, misutaaa, he's not going to be the HLTV top 1 player anytime soon. That's fine. He is an incredible asset on the rifles, and he's definitely worth keeping around once they make those big changes, bring in Dupree, bring in Magisk. This kid's got a bright future. And hey, maybe in 3-4 years' time, we're talking about him in a completely different way. Because right now, he's still very young, still very new. Maybe he becomes even smarter, becomes a better clutcher, makes even better mid-round plays. We saw it in this series, when he was given a little bit of freedom, a little bit of autonomy. He was able to make a lot of things happen. So, credit misutaaa. He brought in the frags when they needed frags in that game. Can't wait to see more from him in the future. But alright, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. Leave a comment telling me your thoughts on misutaaa, your thoughts on this series versus Virtus.Pro. Watch out for a poll asking you about the next player to watch or the next POV demo. Shout out to my elite contenders, my £10 a month patrons, that's Lagir and Excel. Thank you very much for your support. It means a lot to me. That's all for this one, but plenty more to come.